Hi everybody, this is Allie at Star Song Reiki, and today I am doing a mystery chart reading. So what that means is I'm going to go into the birth chart of a famous person that we have AA rating data, meaning we know the birth time of the person. And I'll talk a little bit about their personality and how their chart expresses in their life. And then after I talk about that, I'll reveal the person that I'm talking about. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Just give me a sec to bring it up. All right. Here is the birth chart of the person that we're talking about. And I'm going to enter in at the midheaven, because the midheaven is oftentimes the thing that is most visible in a person's life, because it's our social persona. It's our public reputation and deals with our public success and our fame, or oftentimes it can be expressed as our career path in life or our mission in life, okay? Now, this person's mission is directly related to and will contain a story around individuation. Aries is a sign of individuation. And also there will be a story around personal empowerment, because the Aries energy brings a sense of wanting to be able to follow your own path and put yourself first. And so oftentimes it's through courage and bravery that a person with their midheaven in Aries will go it alone in a very public way, in the public arena. At times they may have to battle for their independence, and there may be friends and loved ones that actually step forward to defend them at times and defend their social reputation or their public reputation. And at times, a person with their midheaven in Aries will display a certain strength of character, where they really thrive inside of challenging situations. So they can really be entrepreneurial in nature. Oftentimes Aries, because of its need for independence, does better in an entrepreneurial situation. So a person with the midheaven in Aries is going to thrive in situations where they can determine their own path, where they can make their own decisions, and where they can follow the enthusiasm and passion in their life. So what they're passionate about, where they have enthusiasm, that's the direction they want to head. And they often enter in with this kind of like boundless energy, like ready to tackle even the most difficult tasks. And so oftentimes the Aries will fight. Mars rules Aries, so they will fight for the underdog, or they will fight for their ability to make their own choices and decisions, right? They want to put themselves first, almost unapologetically, because they know they can lead the way. And it's also like, well, if I take care of myself and do, what I need to do for myself, then I can do that for others. So the next place that we're going to look in the chart is we're going to look for the ruler of the midheaven. Okay, so we know that Aries is ruled by Mars, so we want to check to see where Mars is in the chart. So we see that Mars is in Cancer, in a different area of the chart over here in the first house, and it's behind the ascendant. And I've looked, and this Mars does have an out of bounds signature. So what does that tell us? It tells us that this person will have many firsts in their life. They will be the first to do things a certain kind of way, or to accomplish certain accolades. And Mars in Cancer is strongly motivated by emotions. Okay, the driving force is emotional. And Cancer tends to be very protective. And Mars is a defender, right? So it's also a protective energy. So this is a very protective signature. There are a lot of energies that are put into taking care of the home and family with Mars and Cancer. So the driving force behind their actions is, am I caretaking Am I taking care of myself? Am I taking care of the people around me that are closest to me? They'll put a lot of energy into creating a home for themselves where they can nurture others. Someone with this signature, especially because it's behind the ascendant, so if it was in front of the ascendant, it would be more visible. But because it's behind the ascendant, it's more hidden. It's behind the scenes. This person behind the scenes is putting a lot of energy into taking care of themselves and the people that they love. And there can be hidden ambitions, there can be hidden arguments, there can be a hidden drive. So that is the Mars in Cancer behind the ascendant. Okay, Mars, this Mars is really tied into this midheaven energy. They're both at 11 degrees. And so this Mars is applying to this midheaven. Okay, so the public battles that they find themselves in will be directly tied to protecting the family. Okay. They could do social justice work, and it will be directly tied to working with women who are learning how to defend themselves. Those are ways that that would show up. So let's go a little further into the chart. So we have Cancer rising. So a person who has Cancer rising, Cancer is a very, it's a sign that tends to have a strong boundary. Like it has a hard outer shell. It might not open up quickly until it feels safe. But once it feels safe and it does open up, inside it's very soft and gentle, sweet and nurturing. There's a sensitivity to Cancer. They really feel, they can be very empathic. And so as a way of self-protection, they can create this kind of strong outer shell. Like, I don't necessarily need to take everyone into my inner world because I don't want to feel everything that is involved in feeling what that would entail, right? So they have strong boundaries and they only let people in that they feel safe with or they're close to. I have a quote here from a friend of this famous person who spent time inside their home. And you can hear how deeply nurturing this person is and how highly attuned they are to others when they're in their home, okay? Here's the quote. We had a couple of days together recently. Her husband was out of town on work. In the room she made up for me, there was a candle lit by the bed, slippers, and a robe. We were the only two in the house. It was our time together. She made me the most lovely meals. She made tea every day. It was raining and muddy outside, so the dogs got all dirty, and she was wiping them off with a towel. How much she loves her animals, how much she loves her friends, how much she loves feeding you, taking care of you. None of that has changed. So you can see this is a woman behind the scenes that is putting a lot of energy into taking care of the people inside her home. And she's very protective of that space. So let's move to the next question we're going to ask about the chart. Okay, so we know the midheaven and the ruler of the midheaven, and now we know the ascendant, and we want to know what the ruler of the ascendant is, because that's going to tell us a lot about the chart. The ascendant ruler is kind of like the captain of the ship. This is the thing that's really running a lot of the chart. And with the ascendant being Cancer, we know that Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is going to take us into one of the most powerful parts of this person's chart. The moon is down here in the 4th house. And the 4th house is one of the most internal houses of the chart. It's very personal. It's very private. It's the house of the home and the family. Again, you're hearing this theme of home and family. It's a major theme in this person's life. This is also the place of lineage, ancestry, roots, like deep roots, going back generations. And the moon here is in Libra. So there's a natural ability to bond in partnership. Libras are gifted in their ability to partner with people. They're very good at seeing the other person's perspective. And with the moon being conjunct, which means that it's right next to Saturn and Jupiter. We have a very, very strong energetic signature here in the 4th house, in the sign of Libra. With this signature, there's a bond, there's a partnership, there's a relationship. And with that bond, with that partnership comes an incredible, huge, we're going to see Jupiter, huge amount of duty, Saturn. Okay. There's a big Jupiter sense of rules and limitations. This is the right behavior. This is the wrong behavior. So you get this sense of do this, don't do this. It's like the scales in Libra. This is okay. This is not okay. That's very big in this 4th house energy. So on the opposite side of that, in the 10th house, you have Aries. Okay, so you have Libra down deep in this person's chart, and then you have the midheaven in Aries. So you can see that there's social justice work that happens in this person's life. There is a way in which, and it could be happening with women, right? Because the moon is there. And so you have the moon, and it's expressing up in the midheaven. And teaching women how to fight for themselves might be a way that this expresses how to stand up for themselves, right? So that's a really powerful part of the chart. And then I want to make sure I touch into this too. The sun in Leo at 11 degrees, and it's trine the midheaven. So the sun is shining onto this public persona, this mission in life to fight for the underdog. Okay, so the sun in Leo, this person is really comfortable with the spotlight, and they have an ability to be loyal and to stick with something. Okay, they're able to share their gifts with the world, share their voice with the world, express themselves and their unique talents. And this is the kind of person, when they walk into the room, everybody notices them. And so that brightness, that bright light is shining up into the midheaven as well. So, you know, we have a pretty strong, what's called a T-square between the midheaven, Mars, and the 4th house here. And it's a cardinal signature because the cardinal signs are Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries, right? And all of her angular houses, which are the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th house, and the 10th house, the most significant houses in the chart, are all cardinal houses. And so these past 2 years, 2019 and 2020, 2018 too, all of the eclipses have been taking place in Cancer and Capricorn. And so there's been this very cardinal flavor, this very cardinal energetic signature moving through the collective, but also especially for someone with this much cardinal energy in their chart, moving through this person's life. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal who this is. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. And today is her birthday, and that's why I chose to do this mystery chart reading for her today. I have been working with her chart for several years now, and I have loved it. I think she's an amazing person. I think that she's using her platform to shine light in areas where people might be overlooked. And so we can go up a second and just look at the chart again now that we know who it is, right? And you can see the very public battles that she's had around her social and public reputation. And you can also see that in her partnership with Harry. I mean, my gosh, this huge 4th house signature. And on the day of her wedding, Pluto was in Capricorn, at 21 degrees. And so on that day, she had what's called a Pluto square. 21 degrees of Pluto in her natal chart was transiting, Pluto was transiting at 21 degrees of Capricorn. And so what does Pluto tell us about this whole story is the dismantling of power structures, right? And it's happening through her relationships, and it's happening in the place of family. And the family has such a lineage. I mean, generationally, I mean, is there a bigger lineage that we can think of that publicly everybody knows? So she has this stepped into this relationship with this huge responsibility. I mean, I can't even imagine the number of rules that there were, you know, hold your teacup this way, you have to sit like this, your stockings have to be like this. I mean, there was just an incredible amount of rules. And this is a person that's kind of like, I want to just do it my way. I want to do it my way. And once Archie was born, you know, her and Harry really just wanted to withdraw into this Cancer part of the chart, into their home away from the public eye, and raise their son privately and kind of like as with as much normalcy as possible. And so there's that protective energy. And you can even see it in the past couple of weeks. She's been in the news a little bit more because I know that she sued a publication or something happened where there was a drone that was flown over her backyard and it took photos of the baby. And so her and Harry are very much like, this is our boundary, this is our private space, don't step over our private space or we will publicly fight you. We will fight, we will step into the arena and we will go to battle and we will take you to court if you do it. So they have their sense of a safe space that they're trying to create. And in order to do that, they had to individuate away from the royal family, right? So the very first thing I said was this person's mission will have a theme of individuation. So I can remember last year, several of her friends stepped up to defend her, because sometimes with this midheaven in Aries, it's the friends that step forward and say, you know, this isn't right. And that's what happened. One friend, and I think this is a really good example of the moon in Libra in the 4th house and also the Cancer rising. This is the quote: "We've all been to the cottage. It's small and she made it cozy. But the perception of their lifestyle and the reality are two very different things. Meg cooks for herself and Harry every single day. There is no chef or butler." So the tradition would be that there would be a chef and a butler, and there would be a nanny. That would be the tradition of the 4th house of this family. And Megan's like, I can do it myself. She's got this midheaven in Aries, like, I don't need your help. I can do this myself. And she's, you know, got the energy, the Mars in Cancer. She's got the energy to do it herself. She's got the drive. She's definitely motivated, deeply motivated in this way. Internal motivation is really towards taking care of the people that she loves, right? So she doesn't need the help of a nanny. I can remember another interview because I've been working with this chart for so long. And so I hear it as soon as I hear the stuff on the news. I'm like, oh, I know that part of the chart. But this particular theme, because the T-square is so strong, I mean, you can see the big red triangle through the chart. It's such a strong signature, and everything's been moving through these cardinal energies, that this theme has really popped forward in the past couple of years. The friend was saying, I don't remember what the interviewer asked, but it was something about like a nanny or meals or something like that. And the friend was like a hairstylist or maybe her makeup guy. I'm not really sure. And he was like, Meg is going to make that baby food every single day. Like, nobody else is going to make that baby food but Meg. So, you know, you get this sense that this is a very strong, independent woman. And she doesn't need the help, really. And then she was presented with a choice. And when you have oppositions in a chart, like you have this strong Libra signature down here, and it's opposing this midheaven here, with the square to the Mars in Cancer, when you have a signature like that, you're presented with a choice. And it was basically like, you can have the royal family, but if you choose the royal family, you've got to take all that comes with it, and a lot of stuff coming with it. Saturn, Jupiter, a whole long lineage in the IC, and Pluto. Or you can choose to step out on your own and do your own thing, which she's familiar with. She had her own lifestyle blog called The Tig before she married Harry. You can step out and do your own thing, be an entrepreneur, but you can't do it with the family name. And if you do that, and if she chooses that, right, then she's able to step out of the public arena and raise her family privately, right? So you can see that theme showing up in the chart. The other thing I do want to talk about, so here's just some photos that I like to show. I mean, here's the relationship, right? And you can see Mars in Cancer sometimes shows up. Sometimes the planets show up as people in our lives. So if you think about it, this Libra partnership, the moon in Libra, and you see the Mars in Cancer could be Harry, right? He's behind the scenes, he's behind her. And Mars can be males, and he's the protector. He sees himself as the protector of her and his family. And he has his own story about losing his mother, which is Cancer, right? Losing his mother because of these people overstepping boundaries into their private life, right? So you can see that. Here's the day of the wedding. She does not mind being in the spotlight. You can see the Leo in her, the princess or duchess kind of energy in her. I love this photo of her and the queen. You know, can we really think of a larger moon with more responsibility coming with it than the Queen of England? I mean, and she genuinely looks so happy in this photo, and she really looks like she's enjoying Meghan's company. Yeah, I mean, I would love to know what they're talking about here, because we've over the years seen so many photos of the queen, and I can't think of another photo of her where she looks this genuinely happy. So the matriarch here, and then here you see the grandmothers. What a historic photo, right? Remember I mentioned that Mars out of balance is a person who accomplishes many firsts. So, you know, not only is Meghan the first woman of color to enter into the royal family, she's now the mother, Cancer, of a royal baby who is also of African American descent. So that's really powerful. And you see the grandmothers is a fourth house energy, right? You know, it's no longer the midheaven energy where the queen is in the hat and the suit, right? She's in her sweater and she's at home. And she's meeting the baby for the first time. So you get that really internal fourth house feeling from this photo, as well as the big mothering energy, the big Cancer energy, right? The mother of the zodiac. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. And here we have the royal family. I mean, talk about a big fourth house energy, right? I mean, that's a lot of family. And there's a lot of ancestry and there's a lot of lineage inside this family. So really interesting. And here's more family. So a lot of the public battle that Meghan is in is rooting from a conflict with her own father, which in astrology, Saturn can sometimes show up as the father, and that fourth house energy had the moon and Saturn, right? And it was big. And so the people that she wanted most to be able to talk with and keep things private with shared things very publicly. And, you know, Meghan and Harry have sued several publications because, again, it's this idea of like, this is our private life. This is our, you know, safe place. And if you overstep the boundary, we will fight you publicly. Now, I think this is a really great photo because this was from a documentary from last fall called Harry and Meghan, An African Journey. And in it, Harry and Meghan embark on a 3-week tour of Africa. And the very first stop, so that would be, the midheaven or Aries, the first thing you do. This is Meghan on her way into the very first charity event. You can see the Leo sun, you can see the Libra moon, you can see the Cancer rising, and you can even see the Aries midheaven because she's on her way into this event for social activism, for social reform, for justice reform, right? And the event that she's going to is called the Justice Desk. And what that is, she walks in the documentary into a room full of women who are learning how to fight. They're learning self-defense mechanisms, right? So they literally have they're sparring with each other. So you get a sense of both the Aries energy of I'm going to learn how to fight. Sparring is perfect for Aries. Mars and Cancer, they're all women protecting themselves. And then the moon in Libra, they were partnered with each other. So you could see, just even in that 5-minute portion of the documentary, Meghan's chart was fully alive in that moment, fully alive, because we're never separate from it. We can't be separate from our birth chart. We are our birth chart, right? Here you see her, this is on her way into the Justice Desk, and she's dancing with the young African women. And again, I think her Leo moon or her Leo sun makes her really comfortable in the spotlight here. And then the Libra moon, you'll notice a lot of the photos I share, she's with someone. She's directly connecting with another person. She's partnering with them, right? And here we have her social activism and reform work with children in Africa. And again, see, she's each time partnering with someone, and it's a child, it's someone she's nurturing, it's someone that she is wanting to take care of, connect with on a deep level. This is another charity that Meghan works for that is called the Hub Community Kitchen. And these are women that were in the Grenfell Tower fire in London, which was a terrorist attack. And the purpose of their community kitchen was to empower and celebrate refugees and vulnerable immigrants. So they actually created a cookbook together called Together, our community cookbook. And so again, you see, this is literally like the week that her and Harry left the royal family. They dropped the news. The entire world is watching them. They know that they have a spotlight. And the first photo that they take is here with these women to spotlight them, because this is Meghan's way of using her power. And it's about shining the light on women, and especially women who need to take care of their homes or have had to defend themselves. So actually in the documentary, in their own words, Meghan and Harry say, "Our intention is to use the power of our public platform to highlight causes we are passionate about, to shine a light on areas of need and transform them into positive force for change." So you can hear the Aries and the Libra and the Cancer. You can hear it all in there. And the amount of times that she's really focusing on working with women. And the fact that it's a cookbook is also very Cancerian, right? Because that's about nurturing and nourishment. So is the moon. The moon is very much about bonding, with people. And a lot of times it's very easy to bond with people over food, right? And here you can see, it looks like she's genuinely enjoying so much working with the food. And in her lifestyle blog before she met Harry, she's known as a foodie. She loves to cook, and she loves to cook for friends and loved ones. And you can see the genuine joy in her face in the first photo. And then again, the partnering. the partnering with the woman in the kitchen. And she is behind the scenes, that Mars in Cancer, getting her, hands dirty and getting in there and actually doing the work herself, right? She's not afraid to, mix it up and get in there and do it herself. Again, that Aries midheaven, I don't really need help. I can lead the way. I can show you the way. And I don't need you to show me necessarily. I already know how to do it. But also the Libra moon lets her partner with people really easily. Like, let's do it together. Let's do it together. This is a quote from Meghan Markle that I found on Hillary Clinton's Instagram account. And it says, women don't need to find a voice. They already have a voice. They need to feel empowered to use it, and people need to be encouraged to listen. And here we have her leaning in and listening, right? Again, you feel that sense of the Libra moon of really leaning into the partnership and wanting to hear what the other person's saying. That's so Libra. It's like you want to hear the other side of the story. And then if the other side of the story is not being shared out in the world, that Aries midheaven is going to carry it out into the world and say, hey, did you know this side of the story? I think we need to think about this side of the story too, right? And then the Cancer energy wants to retreat and go and be at home and raise her family in a quiet, safe setting. All right, so that is my mystery person reading. Today is the Duchess of Sussex's 39th birthday, and I wish her a very happy birthday, and I hope that you enjoyed the reading. All right, namaste.